Hi everyone. PVV Infra has announced its September 2025 quarterly results, and the numbers show a big turnaround story. Revenue is up sharply year on year, profit has multiplied, and the company is clearly pivoting toward renewable energy. Let's break down the results in detail and see what this means for investors. This quarter, the company reported revenue of about 10.9 crores. In the same quarter last year, revenue was only around 3.5 crores. That means sales have grown more than three times in just a year, an increase of about 210%. Even compared to the previous quarter, when sales were 7.8 crores, this is a 40% jump. Clearly, PVV Infra secured and executed more projects this time, and the strength has shown up in the top line. Net profit this quarter stood at 2.1 crore. Last year, in the same quarter, profit was almost negligible, just about 0.015 crores. So, moving from that level to 2.1 crores in a single year is a huge turnaround. Even compared to last quarter's profit of 0.7 crores, earnings have nearly tripled. This clearly shows that profitability has returned with momentum. But if we look at the bigger picture, the first half of the financial year from April to September, things look slightly different. Total sales were about 18.7 crores compared to 24.9 crores in the same period last year. That's a drop of 25% year-on-year. Net profit for the half year was 2.8 crores versus 4.8 crores last year, about a 40% decline. What this tells us is that the first quarter was weak and the second quarter is where the recovery actually started. Material expenses continue to be the biggest cost at around 7.1 crores. Employee expenses also increased to nearly a crore compared to very small base last year. But the key is this: even though costs rose, sales grew much faster. That helped margins expand strongly. Operating margins this quarter were close to 23%, while last year they were almost flat. This is the sign of real operating leverage kicking in. On the balance sheet, reserves have improved sharply, from just 0.16 crores last year to 3.6 crores now. That is a positive sign of strengthening financials. Total assets are about 95 crores compared to 80 crores a year ago. Borrowings have increased too, from 3.3 crores to 8 crores. But that is natural when a company is in expansion mode. Cash flow from operations turned positive, which is about 6.2 crores this half year, compared to a negative flow last year. That means the company is generating real cash, not just book profits. At the same time, it has spent nearly 6.9 crores on new assets and investments, which shows its focus on growth. Earnings per share came in at 0.18 rupees for the quarter, compared to almost 0 last year. For the half year, EPS is 0.31 rupees, which is lower than the 0.89 rupees last year. But the improving quarterly trend is encouraging. So, the real story is in the company's growth plans. PVV Infra has got approval for a 100 megawatt solar power project in Uttar Pradesh, which is worth about 384 crores, which is expected to generate around 53 crores every year for the next 25 years. Another 109 megawatt solar EPC contract, which is worth 415 crores, has also been finalized. The company is also moving to an SPV model, meaning separate companies for each project, which is to manage risk better and ensure smoother execution. If these projects are executed well, PVV Infra could see a major transformation from a small infra player into a renewable energy company. So, the takeaway here is PVV Infra's September quarter shows a strong turnaround. Sales have more than tripled, and profits have multiplied over 100 times compared to last year. The half year picture is still weaker than last year, but momentum is clearly coming back. If the company delivers on its solar projects, this could mark the beginning of a long-term growth story. But the big question here is, was this quarter just a one-time spike or the start of a real shift? That's what investors should be watching closely in the coming quarters.